you guys, if at any point anyone has questions, I would love for you just to bring yourself with me, ask a question, because if you're thinking it, I guarantee you that someone else is. We'll just let people in as they come. You guys are here on time. Bless your cotton socks. Let's kick off. All right. Tonight, we're going to be talking about awards, particularly around how to win them, because I think it is an underrated business skill. It is one of the things that I think there are a lot of people who don't recognize that how incredibly important awards can be when it comes to building your business. So my name is Jemima Ashley, and tonight we're going to go into a few of the bits and pieces into winning business awards. But I'm going to give you a bit of an overview about what we do. I only teach at any given time 5 things. I teach people how to build, in the Visibility Lab, we teach people how to build very strong personal brands. Because at some point, the business you're in, the things you are doing will be different. And you will change and go and do something else. We want to make sure that legacy that you have is maintained, particularly when it comes down to what you're doing next. Who you are and the problems that you solve are very important for people. Secondly, we get around a very high level personal network. I don't care what anyone else says. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And as such, being the sum of those people, you have to be around people smarter than you. If you're not if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Media and PR, this is really strongly one thing that we talk about a lot. It is so easy to get free media and free PR at any given time. We teach you how to do that. Social media, obviously, being the next thing that I really want you guys to be aware of. Social media is such a great tool, and I think people forget how simple and how easy it is. And finally, award applications. Being featured, award applications are the easiest way to get free PR, and this is what we're really going to deep dive into today. So most of you guys on this call know me, but I want to be very clear that I do not come from a business background. I have grown up in a very, very small town called Monroe, Victoria, and I want to explain really clearly here that I built a personal brand way before I was ready. I had nothing to sell, and suddenly I had 7 million people tuning into a podcast, and I was freaking out, and now I teach people how to do the opposite. I grew up in rural country Victoria, where I really should have been nobody, in the sense of no business accomplishments, no wins. I worked for Victoria Police. I then went to the AFP. I started a small business and I started a podcast, and everything changed. The point is here, and not that I'm going to deep dive into this too much today, but I built a brand way before I was ready. And now I teach people how to do it very, very intentionally. And that's today what we're going to go through, some of the skills for that. So who am I today? For those who haven't had a chance to meet me, I've been featured about 350 times in different media outlets. I've spoken across LA, New York, Austin, Texas, Bali, Indonesia. I've taken the stage with people like Barack Obama, Senior Advisor, Valerie Jarrett, Ida Buttrose, Make-A-Wish Foundation founder, Gary Vee, Mike Mikowitz. I sold 250,000 books in 24 hours. I'm a bunch of speakers agencies, and I have won, that number's wrong, I've won about 15 national awards and about 2 international awards now. As of Saturday, 2 different international awards. I have been interviewed countless times, been named one of the top 10 entrepreneurs in Australia, and you can read the rest of these things. The point is, I have never paid 1 cent for awards. I've never paid 1 cent for media, and I will never do any of that. And today we're going to deep dive into how specifically I win awards. So why are awards important? This is a question that I get asked on a regular basis. Like, should I bother entering awards that are around? Why bother entering? The first thing I want you to know is how many benefits there are to winning and applying for awards. The other thing I want you to know is every single photo that are in these are either taken by us or our team. So all the awards you see are all the photos that you see are very real. National awards on average at the moment are getting approximately 31 applications per award. And if I told you there were 400 different business awards across Australia and international that Australian businesses and professionals can apply for, this is 100% a way for you guys to get featured very easily. You have a 10% chance of getting a gold, silver, or bronze. That is significant numbers of you and an opportunity for you to do that. The second thing, and the other benefit for it, is you get to conduct a business audit at any given time. The business audit is very simple because it's going to ask you, like, how's your marketing going? What did you do this week to market your business? What's your sustainability goals? How is the staff training and education going? And this great thing happens when you're reading these questions where you go, oh, I actually don't have my values on my website. Maybe that is something we should probably look into. It does prompt very good responses very, very quickly. Third, it gives third-party validation very, very quickly. This also helps you get an increased SEO. Your name will be plastered across different places. One award we know has around 500 journalists that write about that award and the finalists, and you are backlinked to high heaven. You better believe SEO is going through the roof for you. Two, you're also going to get awareness. People are going to read your name in rooms that no one has heard of your name before. This Saturday, not a joke, this Saturday was the Women Changing the World Awards in London. I took home one of those awards, very excited about it. I did not go to London though. Hindsight, 2020, probably should have. But the Duchess of York read out my name and my business name, which sounds absolutely insane to say out loud. But that room of 300 or 400 people, however many were there, heard my name, heard my business, and saw me win an award. That is pretty significant PR that you can't pay for, and an application that I already had standing, and a business that wasn't very difficult to get seen in. Finally, media are absolutely going to pick you up. If you want to get visible, if you want to get seen, this is absolutely a way to do that very, very easily. So what kind of awards are there? We break up awards into sort of 4 different distinct categories. The first one is local. This is your state, your council awards. Active examples of this are things like the Business Chamber Awards that are currently happening, the Brisbane Young Entrepreneur Awards, Gippsland Business Awards. These are ones that are happening in your backyard. These are ones that are happening in your state, and we refer to these as local awards. The next one is national. This is where you will be against every other person in Australia in one way or another, where you're going to have be really put against every single person in your industry. This is Telstra Business Awards. This is the Business Excellence Awards from BX Networking, Australian Small Business Champion Awards. These are your national awards. International, these are your Stevies, the International Business Awards. Hermes is open at the moment. The Clinco is open at the moment. These are international awards. Now, a few things. You're not going to go against one country, you're going against every single business around the world. So buckle in for that. But also, these tend to bring pretty big cash prizes to them and fairly significant money. Finally, industry awards. Acting, music, physiotherapy. This is other people in other people's realms that will absolutely give you the opportunity to go against your direct competitors. So things I want you to know about awards before you enter awards. Number 1, you can pay for an award. This is 100% true, and I've had this presented to me multiple times. This often looks like a $5,000 application fee or a $2,000 application fee. You can pay for media too. I was offered an award in Forbes recently for $5,000 US. And don't get me wrong, I need one client to recoup those costs, right? But ultimately, that's a lot of cash. $11,000 for the front cover of a magazine, $250,000 if you want to be in the front cover of the Entrepreneur. Not hard to do, but be very careful when you're seeing other people winning awards and being on the front cover of magazines, because it is often a nice to have. It is not necessarily an ROI conversion, but it's often used to sell. 2, you can be given awards. This one has always made me a little bit nervous. It's rare, but it does happen. A male friend of mine was given an award in September last year for Father's Day. And he said to me, just want to let you know, I've just been given this award for Dad of the Year. He has a 9-month-old baby at home. He said to me, I feel really uncomfortable accepting this. And when we drilled down into it, the conversation was, how can they possibly know that I'm a good dad? It does happen. And particularly if you win another award, other people are just like, Gonna write off the back of that. Jemima posted a ton of stuff. Leo's posted a ton of stuff. Kathy's done a whole blog about it. People leverage off the back of these and they see what you're doing out there. Because not an isolated thing. You will share it on socials. You'll share it in your blogs. You'll share it in your email mailing lists. Number 3, awards are a business. Make no qualms about this. I love business awards, but I want you to be very clear that these are businesses. Entry for an award can be anywhere from $0 up to about $500 before we start talking about actually paying for the award. Osmompreneur this year has announced their fees are $500 just to enter. Doesn't even guarantee you're winning, right? Tickets for awards are not free, and your ticket pricing will range from $50 through to $500. Again, the most expensive one that I've been to is about $400 a plate. Can I tell you, it's not enough food, it's not enough alcohol for that price. And it's a long night, not to mention hair, makeup, dresses, suits, pocket squares. These things absolutely are of detriment. So be aware that these can add up very, very quickly. And the people who are putting the awards on are a business. There is a very big difference between a $400 ticket and a $50 ticket. Also be aware of that. When you're entering these, I want you to know that is part of your marketing budget that you need to really lay out and whether it's worthwhile doing. So with over 400 business awards in Australia, the business and professional people, where do we even start? And that's the question I really want to run through with you guys today. The first thing is I really want to make sure that you guys are choosing the right category. I cannot stress this enough, because some awards have over 100 categories. This was a real screenshot taken from the Australian Small Business Champion Awards. They have 2 nights now for just the business awards. This isn't the trades awards, not the women's awards. This is just their awards. And they have hundreds of categories. You have to know the difference of these categories. As an example, one of them is business coaching versus business consultancy. They do very different things when you look down who the finalists are and who the winners are. As an example, the Visibility Lab falls way more into business coaching when you look at what they're actually asking for than business consultancy. Business consultancy often is things like businesses that are selling businesses, or recruitment, or anyone that's consulting in to CEOs and CFOs. You have to be very mindful about the ones you're going into. The next one is that I want you to be really aware of are vague titles. You will see things like specialized small business, professional services. Dangerous. I've been in specialized small business and professional services before they started expanding out into coaching businesses. Here's the problem. When it came down to professional services and business services, they had things like networking groups. I ran a very small coaching business at that point. You know how hard it was for me to win that. We had in professional services a cleaning company. Thank you. That's amazing. You were trying to compare apples, oranges, and a chair. And that's very hard to win that award at that point. Doesn't mean because we're finalists, we absolutely had the right to win that. We absolutely could have won it. But very hard to compete when you got one, there's a business coaching one, and the guy at the Australian Small Business Champion, and every year he beats us. And he beats us for the simple fact, and we love him very much, the simple fact that he coaches $300 million businesses. He coaches McDonald's. He coaches businesses on how to scale their franchise in McDonald's. I'm not going to beat him in that. So they have new ones like specialized small business. Be very mindful of the ones that you're going into. If you apply for the wrong thing, it really can be the death sentence before you've even started, especially if you're wanting to win. If you are going to circumvent this, look at the previous finalists and the previous winners. That is the easiest way for you to know exactly who you're up against. Number 2, I want you to read the question properly and understand what they're truly asking. And that can be a skill that is learned. Writing an award application is a science and an art all in one. This question always appears in the Australian Small Business Champion Award. Describe how you promote your business. Kathy, can you apply for multiple categories? It depends on the award. The Australian Small Business Champion, absolutely not. Places that charge you, absolutely, they want you to apply for multiple. But for a lot of awards, if it's a financial one, if you can apply for different categories, absolutely. For the bigger awards, Australian Small Business Champion, the Women's Awards, similar. No, you can only apply for one. They do often have secondary ones, as in like Woman of the Year, Entrepreneur of the Year, Business of the Decade. They are a different category, but you have to enter a base one to go for those as well. Hope that makes sense. Can talk it out a bit more and show you in real time if that helps you as well. This question, describe how you promote your business. This seems extremely simple, but let me break down what they're really asking you. For most people, you'll say things like, we promote our business through social media and we have a current marketing strategy and we put ads up, thanks. Not what they're asking. This is what they're asking. How do you promote the business using the following? Firstly, social media, and you're going to break down exactly what categories you use. Are you on Facebook? Are you on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok? How many followers do you have on each? What is your social media strategy? Break that down for me. How are you engaging with your people? Are you talking to them every day? All of these questions are the subset questions that sit under this. Online, do you have a website? Do you have a CRM? Do you do SEO? So there should be SEO. Do you have an online presence? What's your strategic alliances? Do you have a networking group that you regularly attend? Do you do referral marketing? Do you do networking events? Do you do PR and comms? What awards have you applied for? What's pending? Are you a finalist? When you start pulling this apart, that question of how do you promote your business becomes a very big question. And it is where points are lost, and that's how you don't win the award. Judging, I have judged probably 50 to 60 awards in my day. I have done a lot of judging awards, so I know how to answer the questions now because I know what they're looking for. You have to know the subtext of what they're really asking for here. And the difference between 1 point is a finalist and the winner. And losing 1 point because you just chose, you're like, you know what, they don't really care about PR and comms. They do. I promise you they do. So I hope that is, so if you've got questions about this again, thanks Kathy for asking questions, please feel free to ask more. Number 3, you told them and now you're going to tell them again. This is an interesting one. You've got to now prove it. You've now got to prove the things that you've said. At the end of every award application, there's one thing that's really fun that I quite like. And it's give us the attachments for what you've done. Like, give us your attachment that, saw the attachment, have the attachments. I give consent to put this data through. I want you to always put this data through. You are going to add additional stuff. You're going to add additional information. You're going to do those things. You need to attach these attachments. Generally, we try to say to put one document that's often broken up into several pieces because it can be too big. But if you've told me you have 10,000 followers on Instagram, I'm going to need you to screenshot that and show us. You are going to put images of what you do, what problem you solve, how you do it. You've written a book. We want a chapter, image, copies of awards, social media proof, reviews, recommendations, copies of lead magnets. If you've talked about it in your application, you need to now back it up through this document. So for the authors, Kathy, this one might be specifically for you. Add chapters of your book if you can, add screenshots, add photos of your book launch. When you get Amazon #1, let's see copies of that too. If you can also, as a little hack here, print it off and post it to them. I spend hours looking at screens, and when I get a hard copy one, you better believe I was excited to read stuff. Print them off, post it. It's for authors. Don't be silly about it. Really amplify what you're doing already. Tell them again and tell them again. So these are actual questions that are on Facebook right now. So these are ones that Australian Small Business Champion have posted in their Facebook that they're going to be asking about. So number one, these are two different questions. Detail the success your business has had in the past 2 years. This may include growth, award success, recognition, industry, comments, customers, or suppliers. The second question is, what makes your business a winner? In the first question, in number 4 and question 12, these look a little bit similar. If you were to break these down, these are extremely similar questions, right? They look really similar. Like if I'm going to talk about, I told them in question 4, why would I tell them in question 12? You're going to want to repeat it 100%. As I said earlier, every award is structured differently, and every different category is given points across the category. There are different questions, they're worth the same amount of points, and they're at different parts. The thing is with awards is they are often scored incredibly separately. As an example of this, one tactic I was given for a podcasting award is listen to all question ones, do all the question ones in one go. So there's no flow. I don't read your first application in question 1 all the way through to question 10. I'm reading all of question 1 for every category, and then 2, and then 3 across every different application. We now have this problem where there's no consistency. So if you feel like you told me the answer in question 4, please repeat it in question 12, because there's a chance I am going to stop, I'm going to start, I'm going to walk away, I'm going to come back. Repeat yourself as much as necessary. You will feel sometimes like you were cutting and pasting. That is okay. Do not feel bad about doubling up ever, because telling them again will absolutely cause you way less grief than you think it will. So what happens if we get these applications right? You get your application, you enter the right category, you get featured, and you get seen. And suddenly you're doing the application, you do it properly. Firstly, if you're a finalist, and remember what we talked about earlier, finalists and winners, there is 1 point difference. For finalists, our names are everywhere. That award is trying to get promotion. They're trying to boost themselves. They're putting out on social media. Your names are everywhere. If you do it really well, you get to win and walk across that stage. The social media, the photo, the video, you will get copies of all of this. You even sometimes get a trophy. Sometimes there's a cash prize or award at the back end of it. Hermes this year is offering actual $20,000 for winning that award with no application fee. Why is not everyone entering this? I bet no one knows about it. This also remains evergreen. Those websites are up. They are searchable. Award-winning entrepreneur Leo Petrick. Don Brennan, award-winning entrepreneur business owner. We want these words to be in our bio. We want to put this on social media. You're their success story. They're going to promote you and share. You have to use the words award-winning. You don't think that probably means a lot, but I promise you when it comes down to you or another person being a finalist for a speaking engagement or similar, absolutely worthwhile having it on there. The other thing that happens, and it's something I never realized until I started winning, is you've got a whole new network of people. Alumni award winners for the same award are often very, very connected. They're brought to the same events. They're often shared on the same page. You'll also have that award as your cheerleader. If you've got the Australian Small Business Champion award that's talking about you, you better believe that you are going to circumvent a lot of touch points. And more importantly, you're going to have more people coming to you and raising their hands. And be prepared, because media will call. Any questions, please feel free to ask them. But no one wins, right? We get this question all the time. No one's going to win. Yeah, no one wins this. Except when they do, which at the lab, we have 100% success rate for business owners. We know exactly what we're doing. We know how to do the questions. We know how to answer them. And we have 100% success rate of getting 1 person through at awards. We don't always get them, but we often get there. The other thing is you get photos like these. You get social media tiles like these. You get to share images such as these. This photo here on the far left is of Lauren Huxon and Chris Nielsen, who are clients of ours. They took home Australian Financial Advisor of the Year for the Australian Small Business Champion Awards. Not all awards have the same weight to them. The next one over here in the pink dress, we have Mel, who runs Boobs on the Run. She does a running company in Sydney. They're doing some incredible stuff for awareness of breast cancer, and particularly around women's safety in running, and she took home the local business awards last week. That was incredible, both huge wins for them. It doesn't mean that the Telstra Business Awards getting through to stage 2, where they lose 90% of people, shouldn't be celebrated as heavily. This is all content and all promo and all touch points. The trophies are amazing, but the whole process is a marketing activity. And I think when people think about awards, they can forget how simple this can truly be. The trophy's great, 10 out of 10, recommend getting trophies. So where do we start? You need to get an award together. Let me be very clear. An award application is absolutely something you need to start putting together far before you think you are ready to submit it. If you are smart people, and I'm going to assume that you are, I recommend that the Australian Small Business Champion Awards is where you start. They have the most thorough question load that you will find. The questions are in depth. You are looking approximately about 4,000 words to get your application done. But do not stress, because you can repurpose those questions. This last week, I did stage 2 for Telstra, the Australian Small Business Champion Awards. I had the finalists for the Women to Watch Awards, Women Changing the World Awards, sorry. I used the same application. There's only so many questions that these guys can ask you. The first one being, what problem do you solve? Who do you solve that problem for? Why do you do what you do? How do you promote your business? They're mandatory questions. What have you done in the last 5 years to facilitate growth? Here you go. Question 8. They can only ask you. You can repurpose so many things for this. When we talk about doing awards and the 137 that are currently open, 90% of the work and the heavy lifting is already done. Because if you do an application and you do it well, you can repurpose. Put together a supporting document. This is often best done in Canva. It is honestly the easiest. If you type in supporting documentation or awards, you better believe you're going to get a ton of templates. The other good one to use is Media Kits. They do incredible ones on there. If you said it in your application, you now need to prove that it exists. Number 3, go find awards that you can enter. Before we created the portal, which I'll talk about in a second, we spent approximately $2,500 a year. It's like 2.5, maybe 3,000 on doing awards, just finding that they existed, because there are 137 that are currently open. All of them have free media, free PR, free visibility, free SEO. Most of them are free to enter, and you're going to promote my business. And I've got an application that I can cut and paste. Are you joking? Sign me up. Sign me up. Let's go. Like, this, it makes no sense to me. All right. So let's talk about the awards portal very quickly. For those of you who are interested, I really feel it. I've just realized that our email just sent me an email on my phone, which distracted me for a second, that just said, we failed to send a reminder email. Sorry, that's on us. Oops. Okay. So Australian Small Business Champion Awards. I want to talk about this really quickly. We get so many inquiries about this. We put all of the documents and everything that you will need in one location. And this is something that we created simply for business awards, because every single year we were spending $3,000-$4,000 in constantly looking for these awards. And my VA knew where they all were, but we had to keep watching for them. So we created, where do we find these? Great to tell you. Love to tell you, where do we find all these amazing things? It's in the awards portal. This is something we've invented. In this portal, it is a complete list of all awards. Local, national, business, international, it's all in there. It is for professionals, and it is for entrepreneurs. It is for business owners, CEOs, CFOs, you name it. If it hits Australian business or professional, you better believe it's in there. There is a full list of every document that you need. It's every question, it's every answer. It is all of their bespoke requirements that you need to enter these awards. In addition to that, not only in the questions do we have documents which support writing award applications, cheat sheets, guides on how to answer them well, and how to do it better. They're designed to get you through to be a finalist. We run these webinars, but we deep dive into awards every single fortnight. So we're about to do the Telstra Business Awards, because they are an adventure no one wanted to go on. And it is 10 out of 10, one of the most interesting / difficult applications. So if you're interested in doing it, come learn about what it really is. Why is it weighted as one of the most important awards? Is it? Or is it actually really unsustainable because it's taken me 3 days? I'm going to deep dive into the processes of that. Training and videos. Every single question is answered in depth. I went through a few of them today, but we go into them in way more detail, and also with other experts, other judges, other people doing cool stuff. 24-hour email support and no locking contracts. We are currently charging $30 a month. $29.95 with new weekly documents and new videos every week as well. It is $30 to join that. It will go up to $50 probably at the end of the financial year, if I'm honest. But I'm going to now show you what's currently open. I find awards where people say webinars and people are like, you should see what's around. Well, let's show you. Let's actually show you what you can enter if you're going to do that right now. Just making sure that's worked. Yeah, you can see that. All right, as we sort of talked about, this is every single video that you will possibly need to do awards. Oh, you haven't done me, you don't know your personal brand? Great. How about we show you? Here's your personal brand right now. Oh, you want to know how to do your own webinar? Great. Let me give you a 50-minute video that goes into how to do that in step-by-step process, to pitching to the media, to writing a keynote, to speakers agencies, to writing a good keynote. I'm presuming they're different. Writing a good grant, the documents that you will need, customer avatar, an event checklist. These will get pretty in a second. They just take a minute. The personal brand guide. When was the last time that you sat down and really thought about who you are, what problem you solve, and how you want to really demonstrate that to the people around you? Goal setting, all of the goals that you would need to do. Our 2024 marketing plan, which is exclusive for our members. We give them to you guys as well. How to start a podcast. I know a little about that. Women's groups, for those who are doing networking in women's groups. Supporting documentation. We give you ours. I'll also give you a copy of the cheat sheets, and I'm going to give you copies of awards that I've previously done. I'm also going to give you the PR masterclass that Telstra's given us permission to show you. And finally, let's go through awards. As we said earlier, we break them into three components. Local. Right now, for our Melbourne guys, City of Melbourne has just opened up their awards, which is going to give you Indigenous community. We have Access and Inclusion Awards, arts and events, city design, community, knowledge and innovation, community achievement awards, New South Wales Business Awards. For any of you guys, these are currently open. The red ones obviously are currently closed, and you can see the dates. There are the documents, and also you can click the link to go and visit them. National, which where most of you guys are going to want to play in. Let's see what's around. For Kathy and Georgina, the Osmompreneur ones are currently open. Be very mindful they are $500 for one of the bigger awards, $250 for the smaller applications. Please be mindful of this if you're going to enter. It does not include your ticket for the conference that is happening. I think it's in August and it is happening in Melbourne. The Australian Achiever Awards. These are consistently open and are very good awards and free to enter. The Australian Financial Review. AFR have some amazing awards. Be very mindful that some of them cost up to $2,000 to $3,000. And at that point, it is likely you are paying for the award. CEO Magazine, any CEOs in the house? Most of you. Currently open. Diversity Programs, the Paul's Award, she.com. For those of you guys who have a product-based business, go and check them out. And the Australian Digital National Awards. Kathy, I'm looking at you for that. Finally, international. We have the Business HR Awards, the Green World Awards, for those of you guys who are in sustainability, the International Photography Awards. These are just a couple of the awards are open. Mentioned these earlier, the Verve Clinco Awards, the Bold Women Award. This one here, cash prize. Real money behind it. Recommend ladies go and check that one out. I'm going to stop the share there. Well, less time on this than I thought it was. If anyone's got questions, please stick around for this. I cannot stress to you enough the importance of entering awards in 2024. It is not anywhere near to being over when it comes to the business awards that are currently being run. The awards that are coming are going to be exceptional. We're at the start of what is going to be a fairly significant situation that is coming up. So that being said, please stick around if you've got any follow-up questions. The portal is currently live. I'm chucking that into the chat there if you would like to go and join that. I cannot stress enough how exceptional that portal is. Please have good evenings. I realize it's Monday night. Have good rest of the weeks. Make good choices. And please stick around if you've got any questions. I'm going to pause the recording there.